Good morning, afternoon, actually, everyone. This is Joshua, ENFP_hoops, and I'm joined by AmbeeWrites. This is the Atlanta
Hey,
Dreamin' Pod, and we are discussing the press conference that took place yesterday with Dan Padover, Coach Wright, Danielle Robinson that we acquired in a trade, and Alicia Gray. And then we'll also discuss the Monique Billings contract that getting re-upped, and then also just where we think Tiffany Hayes falls in, because that's like one of the main missing pieces now on what this dream lineup could look like and everything. So let's start with the press conference. What's like one thing that stood out to you, like from either of those four people that like gave you like a little tidbit of what to expect for next season and everything?
well, mostly with Padover, our GM, he clearly has a plan, and he will
I
not be
agree.
rushed. He will not be rushed into it. He will not be poked or prodded to do anything that doesn't stick to his plan. So, um, I'm kind of, I feel kind of reassured, but at the same time, like I have to be try to remind myself to be patient. We starting a new regime. We're going into a new season. So whatever he has up his sleeve, I'm just gonna try to hold on to the little nuggets that he gave us in that press conference. So hopefully it turns out the way we want to. But I mean, I'm gonna roll with it and pat over retrust.
Yeah. No, and like he used like the same term like when he was first introduced last season. Like I like the sustained success, not like just having like a blip it and everything. Like he wants us to
Exactly.
be a contending team or hopefully just like a title winning team multiple times. This isn't just a win it once and then we go away and we try rebuilding it again. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know. Like for him to trade the third pick when he talks like this, he must think the world of Alicia Gray, and I do too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I'm just really interested to see what happens. And staying on Alicia Gray, like one thing I really liked, um, she's not coming here to like just be a part of just taking the dream to the next step. She talked about how she wanted to make the second round after uh, falling just short against the Connecticut Sun. Like she didn't just say like, "Oh, I want to help the Dream make the playoffs this season." They haven't in a bit. Like she's hungry to make it deeper into the playoffs. So that's one thing that made me really excited. She's going
Mm-hmm.
to be hungry and motivated. Rebuild is not a word that was used anywhere. The atmosphere feels like we're going to take that next step and we're going to try
Mm-hmm.
to make some noise. So I don't know if we can get to that 6th seed, as long as like we don't play Vegas or New York in the first round, like LA, Connecticut, Washington, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like we could potentially match up with those teams. Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on being able to potentially be competitive in the playoffs, or do you feel like we're still missing what we need to make it beyond just making it to the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs?
What I'll say is this: any team that is going to go against them is going to have a hell of a time
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
because they have that competitive edge. Like that's like hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. So if they go like they have great talent, they have generational talent, but like with all the other teams that are being built around the league, like some people might think that Atlanta's like short of that. Not the case. I feel like anybody that's gonna go against them, especially in the playoffs, is gonna have a hell of a time. And I feel like they could sneak a round off somebody. I really do think that if they can get in there and they can, I feel like they can push somebody to 3 or 5 games at the very least.
I
So
agree.
I
Yeah.
would be scared to go against them.
No, I don't know. I just like us on our home court. And
Hmm.
especially how the first round is situated and everything. Like, if they do the
Hmm.
same format, if we
Yeah.
take one of those games, like one of those first 3 games, well,
Hmm.
actually, it's a best of 5. We would have to win 2 to get it back and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. You would
Yeah,
have to.
or
Yeah.
just one, and then we just win the next 2 in Atlanta. But especially if we can be leading in the series, and then the final 2 games are in Atlanta, I really like our
Mhm.
chances with that crowd.
Oh
And
yeah.
like I don't know,
Oh
just
yeah.
Ryan is just so clutch. Like I think back to that SEC championship. Like she's just so fun. Like even when I'm just talking about the run as a whole and everything, because like the title game, like I don't know, she just finds a way to make herself known, and she did that with the Dream her rookie season, even when her shot wasn't falling. Like she's just someone that you want on your side, and I like that from Alicia too. She's happy that she does not have to guard Ryan anymore or be defended by Ari. Like
that was hilarious.
I don't know, like she didn't say that there was like contract extension wasn't talked about and everything, but it has been brought up before. Like it was like a couple days after the trade that like there were talks that Atlanta and Alicia Gray were talking about extension. So I don't know. She seems really happy to be with the team and with the culture. Like she was even talking about the arena experience. So I don't know.
It is like no
I
other.
feel a lot more confident. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was about to say it's like no other. Like it's very electric once you're in there. Like
yeah.
If anybody has had the pleasure to go to Gateway, they know, because it is phenomenal atmosphere. Like it was such a huge contrast from 21 to 22, because last year it was immaculate. I love the vibes. They're great. And then, you know, being able to play in front of a crowd like that always gives you a boost of energy. So, hey, I'm ready. Let's start now.
Me too. And like on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that Alicia signs a contract before the season begins?
Before the season begins?
Yes.
I'm going to say maybe around a 7.
7?
Because I feel like if we make one more move, I feel like we probably have to make like maybe 1 to 2 more moves for her to like really like be like, all right, I'm ready to sign. But yeah, I say probably like a 7.
Okay. I'm gonna go an 8.5. If we don't sign her before the season, that's when I start getting worried. Like I start being really worried about us being like competitive, like right off the bat and everything. Like I want her, like it becomes like a tryout for her wanting to rejoin up. Like, I don't know, just how she was talking, it sounded like it's going to happen beforehand, but like if she only stays the one season, we absolutely got jacked in that trade, losing the 3rd pick and the 1st round pick for 2025. Like, yeah, again, I don't think it comes to that. I'm really confident, just like she wanted to be traded specifically to Atlanta. I think it happens, but the longer this goes, and literally like day by day, I get more and more nervous. Then I start getting concerned and stuff. So, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know why you want to commit to playing with Ryan, like just both of them at the 2 and 3 positions, like just feeding off of each other offensively and defensively. Like I don't know.
I feel like that's gonna be such a great combo on both ends of the floor. So I feel like they're gonna have so much fun playing with each other, just to kind of take the heat off each other, you know. So I feel like that would be enough to maybe lock her in at least for like 1 more season. If we could do that, cool. I would love more.
I want more than 1. I'm going for 3 years. When she signs, I'm predicting a 3-year extension that she agrees to.
I'm hoping. Because that's what I really want. But on the conservative end, I'll be like, all right, if she does another year, okay, cool. We have time to kind of fill this out. But if we can get 3, come on with it. I'm ready.
No, she's shown herself enough, obviously, that she's worth giving like a multi-year contract. Like there's no tryout needed from us to see how she fits. Like she's a high caliber player that's going to improve any team. So I am not worried about that at all. And I'm going to start watching more film. Like I was watching, and sorry to bring up your Sparks. I'm really sorry, but there was one game earlier in the season, and I didn't catch this game, but my gosh, she had 10 assists and only 1 turnover. Like the only other player to do that in a Fever uniform is Tamika Catchings. Like That's
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. So I will be posting some highlights from that game later. So I just wanted to give you a trigger warning.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I
But
know last year was the terrible awful for the Sparks, but I feel like we've moved past that now. So I
okay, cool.
think I'm
But
okay.
yeah, I don't know. Just her as a playmaker, it's one going to help the dream because we were just no other way to put it. We were terrible at assist rate, like every single assist category, like assist to turnover ratio, assist per 40, like everything we were towards the bottom. So just getting a playmaker of her caliber, like I brought this up in the press conference and then tweeted about too. Just like I did not realize that Danielle Robinson is one of 3 active players right now to have 2.1 assist to turnover ratio or better in 7 seasons in her WNBA career. And the other 2 are Courtney Vandersloot and Natasha Cloud, who we've talked about. So that's some good company. Like this is going to be someone that injects some playmaking, and it's going to be someone that is good for Aerie. Like if Danielle Robinson is not committed to beyond this season, and this helps like Aerie take the next step, because that's my biggest hesitation in her being a point guard is that playmaking ability, which she did show at Arizona at times. So we'll be talking more about that as we get closer to the season. But yeah, I think this is the best point guard for her, and like getting a like just someone that can really just dish out the ball. And yeah, just the arsenal this season, just wow. Ryan, Alicia, and Cheyenne especially, I'm like really, really excited about. So and speaking of Robinson, one more thing, like she's a pro, like she's a good locker room presence and everything, but how she was talking, just the tone to me, she did not like being on a non-competitive team like the Fever. When she signed up for them, she was not expecting what happened. She is ready to be back with a team that's competing in the playoffs and everything. Like she's going to be hungry too to make sure Atlanta is where they're supposed to. She is tired of being on teams that just being kind. They lost more than they won. So.
Yeah. Honestly, like I caught that too, because I was like, yeah, she was ready to be out of there. Because like I get it, because like you see how everybody's like trying to get the heck out of Dodge and all the vets, because like we want to win, like do something else. Like I can't be here no more, and I totally understand that. So her bringing that type of energy, like that readiness, like all right, let's hit the ground running. I love that energy. I love it.
Me too. No, like just all 4 of them. That's just the biggest thing to me. Like, because last season it was more like, hey, we're building something. Be patient. Be patient. Padover was a little bit like you said, like he's not like to throw away the farm for this season and everything, but there was still like a confidence that we're going to take this next step and this is going to be a fun season. Like, I don't know. I just feel it in the atmosphere already. Can't wait to hear it from other players. I'm extremely excited to see what happens next with us. Now, something that wasn't expected, and I just thought like they were going to go a different direction, both the team and the player, was Atlanta re-signing Monique Billings. What are your thoughts?
Well, I love Mo.
Definitely. We've talked about that.
Yeah, we love her. I totally thought that I was going in another direction, because like I feel like she would be such a good piece for somebody else, that I thought that somebody might be able to lure her away. But Mo said she ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and like
it's just I mean, it feels like home for her, I guess. Like she's one of the last pieces of that 2018 team that was just on a roll. And
she would be.
Yeah.
If we don't re-sign Hayes, she would be. Like we traded Christy Wallace, who kind of counted because the last season was her first season, but
exactly. So it's like having her back. I mean, that's a great piece to still have, but I just thought that she would jump ship, and she just didn't.
Yeah. And we talked about over and over, like, we're a fan of how she plays the game. Like, we think she's going to, like, we thought she was going to contribute wherever she went. Like, especially on the glass. Like, she's been incredibly consistent. Like, last season, she was in the top 3 per 40 minutes in offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds. So, like, she is going to bring that effort and everything. Like, I'm just hoping we get more games like the season finale where she scored 12 points in 20 minutes, I believe. Like, she's going to bring that competitive energy. It's just that shot. Like, I'm just wanting to see her take the next step in that.
I wanted to fall.
And then
I wanted to fall.
And another thing, like, I was going through last season's notes, like what I talked about with Monique and everything, and one of the reasons I thought she was going to move on is, like, she had a dramatic minutes decrease. Like, she was playing about 6 minutes less per game, and there were times where, like, we had front court issues, like, especially with Nia out and everything, and we went more towards Naz. So that shows me she's more okay in that role. Like, to me, she's like the backup 5 for us, like behind Cheyenne, and then Nia and Naz are in the 4. Do you have a different arrangement in your head of how that will go, or do you think it'll be similar to last season?
I feel like that's like the only spot she can really take up right now, because I feel like Naz pretty much solidified herself as the 4. In my opinion, because the way she went after, like, especially in that last stretch of games when she, like, started quite a few games, it reminded me a lot of Monique's first season. So that leap that Naz took, I feel like that's her spot. It's her spot to lose, and I feel like, hey.
So you think Naz is going to be starting over Coffee from the get-go?
I feel like, because I did just forget about Nia just for a little bit.
Because I'm curious. Like, I feel like there could be a battle, but I'm just curious. Like, are you leaning with the jump that Naz took, or would you be willing to make a prediction now that she does it, or do you think it could go either way?
I feel like it really could go either way, because, I mean, not as long as Naz' shot is going, like, if it's improved, I feel like I might give her the edge a little bit. But Nia is built to, like, be like plug in wherever you need her. Like, she's built for that type of stuff. So I don't know. It's gonna be a toss up. But go ahead.
And, like, I don't know if you were surprised, like, from her season with the Sparks. Again, like, when I was watching film, it seemed like most of her time was at the 3. I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, she had a dramatic increase in, like, how good she was on the glass for the Dream before she got injured and everything. So were you expecting her, like, to succeed right away at the 4, or were you skeptical last season as well, like, where we slotted her and everything?
I was kind of skeptical because I liked her best at the 3, but because of Ryan, I feel like they just kind of, like, switched it up and just had to stick her wherever they needed her. And I feel like she did pretty good before the injuries hit. I feel like, that competitive edge, it just gives you whatever you need, and she has it. So I don't know. I'm not completely sold on the idea, but I do think that if they needed to fit it, she could fit that mold if they really, really need it. It's kind of hard.
Like, the starting lineup, I could go either way on that. Like, Cheyenne, like, especially offensively, I thought she was great for the 5. It was more defensively, like, there would be times she dominated and other times where it felt like she would do better in another position. Like, again, I think the highest of Cheyenne. I think she's a potential all-star, but I still wanted to see her slide back to the 4. So
that's what I really.
But our bench, I'm fine with, like, Billings or Naz and Coffee. We still need to get our backup wing. AD, like, as long as they're able to stay healthy, obviously we'll want to get another shooting guard and everything just for adding that depth, just in case. And then point guard between Robinson and Aerie. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a decently solid group. Like, it's starting to come together. But just I brought up Tip at the beginning. So since we're talking, like, adding, like, just completing this roster, like, I calculated, like, what our roster cap space would be, including the 8th and 15th picks and AD making the roster out of training camp. and that would be 11 players, and we have around 197,000 still to spend. So that is enough for like a high caliber player. Obviously, you want to keep some cap space for like getting people temporarily if there's injuries and everything with like a hardship contract and everything. But it's safe to say like we could comfortably spend around like 150,000 on somebody. And yeah, like I feel like Tip is right there. Like I feel like other teams are starting to see like what their rosters are seeing, what they look like. They've missed out on players that they wanted to get. And Tip, like even last season when she was healthy, like there were times when she was playing at an all-star level, especially that Vegas game. Like there is a want for her. So I want to discuss with you like what she would look like in the dream lineup. But first I want to talk about like, what do you think the trade value would be for her on another team? Like, because she's not signed, it would just be getting the rights to her. Like, what's something we could expect to get back for Tiffany Hayes and everything? Do you think we could get like a starting roster player back for her, or would it be like a group of like smaller pieces and everything? What are your thoughts on that? I'm really curious because, I honestly don't know what to expect from that.
I feel like it will probably be like some smaller pieces because at this point in the game, mostly everybody is kind of their teams are starting to take shape a little bit, and I'm just trying to figure out where she could fit, who she would want to go to, like those types of things. And I don't think any team is gonna want to give away anything that's too significant in order to get her at this point, because like the money's drying up and spots are drying up, so it will probably be some smaller pieces.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. No, I think the only way we get a big piece, and we talked about like potential trades and everything before in previous episodes, which you guys can check out. But I feel like to get a bigger like starting player like Queen Egbo out of Indiana would be throwing in that 8th pick as well. And I don't think Pat Over, with how we talked about like wanting to build it steadily, that he would want to trade that 8th pick. Maybe the 15th. I could see that one. And you were more confident on that, I remember. So I could see like Tip in the 15th, but I still don't know if that gets us like the caliber of player that would be able to move Cheyenne to the 4 and they start. So
exactly,
it's just going to be very curious to see what happens there. But what if Tip comes back? It's like she decides she wants to play for the Dream again. She's been playing with us for 10 seasons, and she's fine with playing like a different role and everything. Do you see her starting and we just play a smaller lineup, or do you see her coming off the bench? Like, what's your gut instinct?
I feel like if she was to come back, she's gonna want to start, and then we'll just have to try out a smaller lineup. And I don't know if that would be the flow that we needed, honestly.
Like, I would
rather her come off the bench, but I just don't feel like Tip is ready to go to the bench yet. I really don't.
Yeah, no, she's still playing. Like when she's healthy, she's playing at a high level. So that's why I'm so skeptical. Like I was bitter, but don't get me wrong, I was bitter with how she left last season when we were in the middle of trying to contend for the playoffs. But outside of that, another reason I think that she's going to leave the team is she still thinks she has something to offer, and understandably. So if she goes to the right situation, like she would be a starter and everything. So I'm just so curious to find out if she comes back to the W. Like maybe she decides to go overseas, but I don't think that. I still really think she wants a WNBA title. Obviously, unfortunately, didn't get it in Atlanta. I still think she's hungry for that title, and she could be, just a potential trade piece that gives us either like moves us up in the draft, just something like that, and everything. Like I don't know.
I would like that, but I just don't know.
One team that I see that has a big hole are the Chicago Sky. If they don't make that trade for Laney, like
which I feel like they should, but I don't know if they will.
I don't know if the Liberty are going to do that because, like, I heard Stewie is taking a big contract pay cut, which we're going to talk about that in another episode, like this culture and everything of players having to take those pay cuts to build these teams. But I just feel like Chicago is still trying to be competitive. Like they signed Courtney Williams, they signed Elizabeth Williams and everything. Like actually with them signing Court, maybe Tip wouldn't be a good fit. Now that I think about it, I forgot about Court, and then when I was mentioning them, I brought her up. So I don't know. It would be the same situation with us where they'd be having to do a smaller lineup. So maybe Phoenix. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I agree with you. I struggle with finding a spot. There is one team that's struggling with contract negotiations, and we already traded with them, but the Dallas Wings, I do not, like, I haven't heard anything on Marina Mabry, and maybe we pick up our center that way with Tiffany Hayes and we just double dip.
It makes the most sense. It makes the most sense. Like, there's no way that you have this plethora of bigs, like nobody, like
they have plethora. Even with Allery leaving, you know what they did?
Exactly.
You know what they did the day after Allery announced her retirement from basketball?
What did they do? I can't remember.
They signed Kalani Brown to a training camp contract. Another gosh darn center.
Like, like what are y'all trying to do? Now, personally, I would have liked to get Kalani. I know she has problems with the organization from her past time with us, but
I wasn't
felt like that would have made sense.
Yeah. No, I get your point, but
still, like, come on, guys, come on. What
of all teams, Greg? Dallas, like, so
Greg. I need a one-on-one with Greg so I can understand his thought process.
I think a lot of people want a one-on-one with Greg. So
because it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And I don't know, like, just again, looking across the league, there's not a lot of teams that can give Dallas an exact replacement for Mabry, like what she provides. So they might just end up getting like a first-round pick again and everything, like a pick and a prospect and everything. And they still have that hole, and they still haven't filled the hole from Alicia leaving. So I'm curious, after they make the Mabry move and they don't get a player, like if they don't get a 2 to replace her, if we start meeting back up again and we get one of the center prospects that we were wanting in the original trade. I don't know.
I hope so, because like at this point, like, Dallas, what do you want? What more do you want from us? We need a big. Y'all are hoarding them.
Hoarding, flat out hoarding.
Like, how many? Like, it's like what, 5 or 6 posts, and it's like, and they're super bigs. Like, you're holding on to these big pieces that could, like, turn the tide for somebody else's team. Like, I get it, but like, whatever you want for them, like, the price is probably too high.
And I feel like Natasha Howard and Tiara McCowan, like, their style of play, like, kind of bleeds into each other. Like, I don't know how that combo was going to work. Like, when that trade happened, like, I was just stunned. Like, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Like, I know that, you know, that the Liberty had to do something because you got to make room for JJ. And
I'm just surprised Dallas was the team, though, that was part of that deal.
Actually, I'm not.
They're just beyond surprised now. Yeah, but man,
I'm not. But at the same time, it's like, come on, guys, come on, what are we doing here?
So we did this after after re-signing Nia Coffey and everything. But where do you see us as where we would seed right now? Like, I just want to see if anything changed there with signing Monique, like if it changed the needle at all on how our lineup looks. Like, what seed do you see us right now?
I still see us like 7 or 8.
Okay, and I'm still at 5th or 6th. I still see us middle of the pack. I don't see us like fringe playoff team. I see us like in there, but not quite like home advantage. So like in that spot where like upsets happen, like a 6 knocking off a 3 or a 5 knocking off a 4 is definitely like wouldn't be too much of a shocker. I see us like right there. So but I could see 7 or 8 if like we're going with the same front court and like Monique and Nia had injury issues last season. Naz like is entering her sophomore season. Sometimes like the terms of sophomore bump for a reason. Like
Yeah.
Just improving your game enough where you're not predictable. That's really hard to do. I think she makes that next step. I think she gets more consistent in her jump shot like she was showing last season, but it's not a guarantee. Monique improving on her offense and everything, it's not a guarantee. So what they do, I feel like we're going to be a good rebounding team.
Oh, yeah,
I think defensively, outside of playing the Liberty and Aces, which I'm heavily concerned about, I feel like we're going to be able to stand up most of the time. But offensively, I definitely have questions outside of Cheyenne inside. I feel good about our backcourt. I honestly do. But just inside, I want to see what happens, and I wouldn't mind getting one more piece. But I definitely think we're a competitive team, and we win, like, there's 40 games this season now. I think we win, like, 22. Like, we go, like, 22-18 and get that 5th or 6th seed. So I'm thinking somewhere around there and seeing what happens and everything. So,
yeah. I'm happy with breaking even. If we can break even on the season, I'll be very, very happy. But 22 games is not undoable. I feel like we could do that. We could do that.
Yeah. I would like it. Yeah, I just... So does your gut feeling think that we make a big move, or are we going to have a similar roster? Like, what it's shaping out now, are we just going to make some minor moves from here, or do you see us trying to attract one big fish? Like, I'm starting to have thoughts on Tina. I'm curious, like, having that 5. I know she wouldn't be a good fit, but it would just kind of move the needle a little bit. I don't know. It might just be desperation from me and just wanting something big to happen. Because again, like we talked about this since we were doing free agent preview, we didn't think she would be a good fit. So
at this point, why not? And then also something that I forgot about is that I believe, didn't Tanisha Wright play for the Liberty when Tina Charles was playing?
Yes. Yeah, and Tina talked about how she loves Coach Wright, like she loves her like as a teammate and a coach. So I feel like, but the thing with Tina, like I feel like she wants to go out on a title.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't blame her.
But man, if the rest of the team, because again, like Alicia and Ryan are incredible defenders. If you move Cheyenne to the 4, like, I feel like she's going to be better positioned defensively. Ari off the bench is really good defensively. Robinson, like, I feel like hers is more her playmaking, but she was a stable defender. Like, could we make up for Tina's deficiencies and get, like, if she is consistent on offense, could it work? Maybe.
It could. And it would solve that, the problem.
Conundrum. But
it will solve the problem. It's just, like, I really want to say that I would be super confident that Tina wouldn't, like, wreck the flow. I wish I was confident that would not happen.
I'm not either.
Yeah, that's my only thing, is that I'm so afraid that if we bring her into the fold right now, that it could potentially, like, shake it up a little too much. I don't know. It would solve the problem, but it just, I'm not.
And I wish there was more trade activity when the trade deadline was happening. Like, when's the last time, like, there was, like, a big trade before the deadline? Like, I would like to see our lineup, like, with a couple minor pieces. And then if it's not working out in the front court, like, we just need that big and we need to move Cheyenne to the 4, like, we make a trade at that point if we're looking good, but we know we need another piece and everything. Like, but I just don't think that's realistic with how few, like, major trades that happens normally for, like, minor bench players and, like, trading a draft pick in exchange. Like,
I want to say the last time something really happened like that was probably Sylvia Fowles back in 2015 or 16?
You've been a fan longer than me, so wow. I'm sure like if there was a timeline back then, like, it would have been going bonkers with Sylvia going from Chicago to Minnesota.
Yeah, because I feel like, because that was crazy. I remember thinking, like, yo, she really gonna sit out the whole year if she don't get moved. Like, it was insane. But they ended up making it happen. But yeah, like I feel like that's the last time like a huge trade happened like that. And
And
it
I didn't
one of
know Sylvia was sitting out, so that was
yeah.
kind of like expected, and
Mm-hmm.
like it wasn't
Like it
like
had
out
to
of the
happen.
blue, like, hey,
Yeah,
these two
true.
teams came together. Yeah, so
Yes, very true.
and it will take making changes to the salary cap and how things are done to
Oh yeah,
bring that excitement. So
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, we got. Well, I feel like we as the fans, we're doing our part. We're trying to do more of our part.
definitely.
Like we doing all we can. Like we going out there. We're making our voices as loud as can be, and it just takes the top to see what we got going on and be like, all right, this is what you guys want. We're gonna do that to make it, a seamless thing. And Kathy, Lord have mercy.
And since like
Mhm.
since Kathy brought this up herself,
Mhm.
I think we'll end the episode here. Like after this,
Mhm.
I feel like we got a good breakdown of the dream roster. I want to go a little bit into Kathy thoughts, and like
Mhm.
controversial things, she brings them up late at night. Like
Oh yes,
the
she
things
does.
come out at like 10 p.m. So an article
Mhm.
comes out. There was a lot in it, but there was just one quote that just really got me. No one wants charter flights more than Kathy. That's what she said. No one. I just
Sis, listen.
I just want to end on
Come
that.
here, Blazerberg. Let's talk. Like honestly, like come on, Kathy. All the corporate like jargon that gets thrown around all the time, like she's a corporate girl. And
Definitely. She didn't have sports background going into this.
exactly, like the only sports background that she had was literally just being a player. Like that's literally it. She's never run a sports league, and it's like, do you truly understand that this is like not just like it's a priority amongst like,
And then
come on,
and then
let's be
like
real.
she said she was not going to give teams like a competitive edge. She'll make sure that there's balance and everything. I honestly, if the owners want to invest, like, and I understand it's in the CBA, so this will be something for next time, but like, if
Mhm.
you're a sports owner, a lot of these people own other professional, let's be honest, men's teams. And
Exactly.
they get the full package. Like, if you're
Mhm.
not willing to pay for charter flights, like these are like like this is the top 2%. And I have thoughts
Exactly.
on yeah, but people
Yeah,
who
I
are
feel you.
making
I
that
feel
much
you.
money, but I'm not going to go that
I
way.
feel you.
But just they have this amount of money to be able to purchase a team.
Mhm.
They have other assets. There's
Mhm.
no way they can't afford to pay for charter flights
And
for
so many
their
of
players.
them.
And the fact that they're flying commercial is just disgusting to me. Like that
It
they're not
is.
even first class in these commercial flights. So
Hello.
I know they can afford charter, but they're flying commercial, like and being late for games, being tired of like one team having to forfeit recently. Like
Yeah. Now remember that was
it's
the whole debacle as well.
oh yeah, the TL was a mess that day, and
It was.
understandably and rightfully.
Mhm.
And yeah, I honestly thought foolishly that something was going to change after that. And
Lord have mercy. Like it. The thing about it is, there's a lot of owners now, especially the newer ones that are coming in, they're the ones that are gonna shake it up because they're like, listen, we have the means to do it. We want to do it for our athletes. And the league is just like, well, we have to make it fair. Okay,
yeah,
well, look, everybody needs to step their money up if that's what they're gonna do.
no,
Like, go ahead, go
imagine
ahead.
like there's a high caliber free agent NBA player, and they say one of the reasons they want to sign with the team is someone that will invest in the team. Imagine that, because like
I
all
don't
the
see
teams, like NBA, like they're invested into, they have nice arena, nice facilities.
exactly
Like if a player
that.
did that, like there would just be uproar, like fans would be wanting that ownership gone. And it's like a commonality, like from what
Hmm.
I've heard, like people that cover their teams, it's unfortunately like I would say maybe less than half would want to invest in their players and like having the charter flights and advanced facilities.
Exactly.
Like the New York Liberty locker room revamp should not have been a big thing, and it was huge. Like I don't know if you remember that video coming out, but like they just did major upgrades, and like how our ownership, like the Atlanta ownership is top, like those changes are coming for us too. Like it's just a matter of when, not if. Like they are, like they seem fully committed to this team. So I'm excited to see whatever they do. So
Uncle Larry is invested. He is now Uncle Larry.
Okay, I like it. You know what? I'll use that too.
Uncle Larry said that he came with his wallet wide open, and he's ready to invest in doing.
He is things. And for people who are not following Larry, and I didn't, I'll like just look him up. Like look up the tweets he says, because he's like been like I don't see many owners that are vocal on Twitter. Like he's been very vocal on what he thinks of the WNBA, like his like commitment to making the Atlanta Dream like a go-to franchise. Like it's really awesome to see. And like he even talks about how like NBA players are not always in the green, like a good chunk are in the black too. And more money's involved in there. So
most of the league loses money, and that's what they fail to realize. It's like they always talk about how the W loses money, and they don't realize that the NBA hasn't turned a profit in a while.
It's true.
Like,
I don't
know. They've lost way more money. So I'm just saying.
Yep.
Most corporations operate at a loss. It's an investment, really. It's fun. Like, and people, like, when it comes to very, very rich people, especially in the United States, they like to flaunt their wealth.
Yeah.
They love it. So owning a sports team is not always to turn a profit. Like they already got the profiting in some huge corporation that you probably never heard of. Like that's where their money is coming from.
Yep.
They just like to be in the mix, and this is how they're in the mix. So it's like, why is there such a stigma around women's sports when women's sports is the one that's like really taking off? To be honest, it's taking off like crazy, and if it's invested in now, in a few years, we're gonna be talking about $1 million contracts in a W.
I would not be surprised. Like it gets so much attention and everything. Like players are now getting like shoe deals. Like
exactly.
The followings are there. Like the numbers are there. Like I'm just really interested to see the next TV contract and just the Dream itself. We talked about the arena and
it's an upgrade.
And then just like the players that we're bringing in is already upgrade. Like I just can't wait for that first time that a marquee free agent wants to come to Atlanta. Like we know that we're going to be one of the spots each offseason. It's going to be fun. Like the Stewie sweepstakes and everything.
Yep.
We know it's a given that we're going to be a part of that conversation, just like the Liberty are and like the Sparks are at every time. Like we get to be part of that discussion. So I'm all for it. So
it's coming. Because you look at that top three and you realize that all those cities and franchises are like, they have big ownership, big money, they have good facilities, and they got selling points of being in very big marquee places. So Atlanta is a huge media hub as well. A lot of people don't realize that. TNT,
definitely.
CNBC, like it's a huge metropolis. So what I'm saying is like they not lagging in that. They gotta get everything else together as far as like their facilities and upgrading all that stuff.
Yeah, no, because like
Uncle Larry
honestly, like I'm hoping the next CBA, like we're able to take advantage of being the only team in the South. Like when Alicia thought about like places to go, like she brought up the next Southern team, which is Washington. Like there's nothing between.
Like the further south,
So like her wanting to be closer to like her family and everything, that I honestly like she brought up other teams, but I think it was just a formality. Like I think she wanted to come to Atlanta, and like when when there's like a luxury tax put on or when the salary cap increases, if we make the playoffs next season and we don't like get swept and like we're competitive, even if we lose in the first round, if we're a competitive team and we give a challenge to that team, I think we make that next step next season. We become a destination city. Like there's just the only other team I've heard in expansion was Nashville, and there just has not been as much momentum lately. It's all been around Oakland and Portland and Toronto. Like I have not heard any southern cities having momentum right now. So I think it will be our time to take advantage of it until that advantage is taken away. But I don't see it coming within the next couple of years at least. So I don't know. Like we could be the team of the South, and
like we're definitely like at that tipping point. Like all we need is like that everything to come together completely. Once everything comes together completely, then that's it.
That's it. No, and we get the fan. Like this season, my goals are one, like we fill this arena up like every game. Like we make it ridiculous that we have a smaller arena. Like it just becomes such a big point. There's no choice but to move to a bigger arena next season. That's why I'm hoping. I don't know what the contract details are with where we're at now, but I'm hoping that
I need that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing. And then two, again, just want to be competitive. Like I want to make the playoffs, make some noise. Like if both of those things happen, I don't see why free agents would not want to sign with us and us become like a destination city. Like I think this season has just a huge potential to be a turning point, and just we're one of the more exciting teams in the WNBA. So
definitely, I see it. I see the vision, and it's coming together. It's coming together. But yeah, that arena is gonna be packed out no matter what.
Definitely, I cannot wait.
Man, last year, like it will be filled up. Like I want to say the capacity, like average capacity was like 88%. It's gonna be like close to 100, if not 100.
With how small our arena is, it better be like with just bringing in Alicia, like Ryan going into her second season, like Robinson and Aerie like being stable at the point guard again. Like our backcourt and Cheyenne, like huge confidence in everything right now. So yeah, we're going to be good. We are going to be good.
We're going to be very good. I'm excited. Very excited.
But yeah, we'll see if there's other moves and everything. Like again, we're trying to at least keep this on a weekly basis. I have some draft thoughts for next week. If there's nothing major that happens and everything, I've had a shift in the type of player I want to go to potentially. So we might be talking about that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, Amber. Always a pleasure talking with you. I could talk for hours on hoops and everything, and I hope we have a lot more good things happening throughout the year, especially when the season starts. So
absolutely, I can't wait.
All right, talk to you all later.
All right, bye guys.